You know what your problem is? I ain't got no problem, man. Don't tell me. Don't tell me what my problem is.
Fans have always been captivated by Scrappy's journey on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, following every twist and turn in his career and family life. But no one could have seen the dramatic fall that was coming, a fall caused by his own actions. Scrappy, known for his fiery temper and fierce loyalty to his circle, had been a staple of the show for years. Things took a sharp turn during a particularly heated argument. Scrappy, famous for speaking his mind and never backing down, found himself in the middle of a confrontation that would change everything. This explosive moment left fans shocked as they watched the fallout from his decisions unfold in real time. The trouble started when a cast member, known for being loud and chaotic, clashed with Scrappy over something small. What should have been a minor disagreement quickly got out of hand. Words were exchanged, insults flew, and soon it wasn't just a simple argument, it turned into a full-blown fight. But Scrappy, known for his quick temper, had finally hit his breaking point. In a moment of anger, he didn't just shout, he made a threat that went beyond the usual drama. His tone was serious, and the words he used left everyone stunned, realizing this was more than just heated talk. There was no mistaking the tension as the two men exchanged harsh words, but it was Scrappy's threats that crossed the line and sealed his fate. Everyone on set, producers, crew, and cast, knew this wasn't just another heated moment. The shock was written all over their faces. This wasn't the usual drama they were used to. Things moved fast from there. While reality TV is known for its chaos and conflict, there are still rules. Love and Hip Hop had a strict policy against threats and violence, and Scrappy had clearly gone too far. It didn't take long for the fallout to begin. It didn't take long for the authorities to decide that Scrappy's outburst had gone too far. One of the show's most well-known stars, Scrappy, soon found himself without a job. The decision wasn't immediate, but it happened fast enough to leave everyone shocked. Scrappy had been a part of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta from the start, and the show had been a big part of his career. It gave him a platform to showcase his music, his life, and his complicated relationships with his family. But now, everything he had built was at risk. After careful thought, the decision was made, and Scrappy's future with the show was suddenly uncertain. The situation raised serious concerns about the show's reputation and the safety of everyone involved. What started as a moment of weakness for Scrappy quickly spiraled into something much bigger. When the news broke, fans were split. Some were furious with Scrappy for being reckless and stirring up trouble, while others thought the show acted too quickly in letting him go. For Scrappy, losing his spot on the show wasn't just about leaving a TV series. It was a harsh wake-up call about his struggle to control his anger. At the same time, many saw the show's decision as a reminder of the thin line reality stars walk between entertainment and real-life consequences. In the days that followed, the fallout from the incident kept everyone talking. After the intense moment, Scrappy took a step back, staying quiet and really thinking about what had happened. To the public, he had always been the confident, bold one, but behind the scenes, the truth hit hard. He realized that his actions had hurt not just others, but himself, and in turn, his career. Though he tried to keep going on the show like nothing had changed, the tension between him and the producers was impossible to ignore. The show continued without Scrappy at the center, and for the first time in a long time, he wasn't in the spotlight. It was a powerful reminder that no one is immune to the consequences of their actions, even when they've been a staple on TV. The lesson Scrappy learned wasn't easy, but it was a wake-up call. The anger and fiery attitude that had once protected him now stood in the way of his success. Losing his spot on Love and Hip Hop made him realize that sometimes things get misunderstood or taken the wrong way. In a moment of reflection, Scrappy knew he needed to make things right. "I'm sorry, TDW Khaotic," he said, acknowledging his part in the situation. "I know I can be tough, but that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Sometimes when things go wrong, I feel like I'm not showing the best side of myself." He understood that the other person might not see it the same way. Says I make him feel like I think he's not a good person, but that's not how I feel. We just need to meet in the middle and understand each other better. Scrappy was clearly frustrated, trying to make sense of everything that had gone down. "In life, you've got to stand your ground," he said, trying to explain his perspective. "But this isn't about that. I never had an issue with him. It's him who says all this crazy stuff and then plays the victim. One minute he's saying, I don't want any problems, but if you've got an issue, then step up and own it. If not, just stay quiet." At the end of the day, Scrappy wasn't letting it get to him too much. "Honestly, it's not that deep. It's not worth making a big deal about," he said. His message was clear. He just wanted to move on and not get caught up in the drama. Scrappy had always dealt with the ups and downs of his work and family life, but no one saw this coming. It all started with a major argument with another cast member, someone who wasn't afraid to speak his mind. This guy was known for his bold attitude and love for causing drama. What seemed like a simple disagreement quickly spiraled out of control. The tension between them grew so intense that it wasn't just another fight for the cameras. This time, Scrappy's actions had serious consequences, and everything he had worked for started to feel like it was slipping away. The impact of that moment would stay with him for a long time, and things would never be the same again. What started as a small argument between Scrappy and another cast member quickly spiraled out of control. At first, it was just a few words thrown back and forth, but soon it turned into a full-blown clash. Scrappy, who had always struggled with his temper, was pushed to his limit. As the tension between them grew, the insults got sharper, and the situation started to feel more serious. But it was Scrappy's threats that truly changed everything. In the heat of the moment, his anger took over and his words became darker and more intense. It wasn't just a simple argument anymore, it was something much more serious. His tone left no room for doubt, and the situation was about to take a turn no one could have predicted. The staff and producers who were watching couldn't believe what they were seeing. What they thought would just be another heated argument quickly turned into something much more serious. This wasn't just a disagreement anymore. This was a moment where Scrappy had gone too far. Scrappy was clearly upset as he talked about what had happened. He was the one disrespecting me, calling me names. I never act like that. I don't threaten people, and I don't play the victim. I don't do all that fake tough guy talk. Let me speak for myself. Things moved fast behind the scenes. Reality TV has always been about drama and conflict, but even the producers knew this was different. Love and Hip Hop had always thrived on chaos, but this situation crossed a line, and everyone knew there was no going back. The show had a strict rule about not tolerating threats or violence, and Scrappy's outburst clearly crossed that line. The decision came fast after the incident. Scrappy, who was one of the most well-known stars on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, was let go from the show. While it wasn't an instant firing, the producers wasted no time in making their choice after considering everything. Scrappy had been with the show from the start, and it had been a big part of his career. It gave him the chance to share his music, his life, and the complicated relationships he had with those around him. But now, everything he had worked for was at risk. It was a tough blow, and the reality of losing it all was starting to set in. When the news broke, fans were left shocked. Many felt heartbroken, while others were upset with Scrappy for letting his anger get the best of him. His actions not only caused drama, but also put the show's reputation and the safety of the cast and crew at risk. Some fans felt the situation was handled too quickly. In the days that followed, Scrappy's firing became a painful reminder of the price he paid for losing control in that moment. What started as a burst of passion turned into a major consequence. It showed just how thin the line is between personal emotions and public actions, especially for someone constantly in the spotlight. Reality stars often walk a fine line between entertainment and real-life consequences, and Scrappy learned that the hard way. After everything happened, he stayed quiet for a while, taking time to reflect on what he'd done. On the surface, he'd always carried himself with confidence and swagger, but deep down, he realized the damage his actions had caused. His outburst not only hurt him emotionally, but also impacted his career in ways he hadn't expected. As for the show, life went on without Scrappy. The cast continued their storylines and the drama carried forward. But even with the camera still rolling, things felt different. The tension that lingered between Scrappy and the others was hard to ignore, and for the first time, the show felt like it was missing a key piece. For the first time in a long while, Scrappy wasn't the one everyone was focused on. It was a tough pill to swallow, but it was a lesson he needed to learn. The fiery temper that had once protected him now stood in the way of his future. Losing his spot on Love and Hip Hop hit him hard. It was more than just a job loss. It was a wake-up call, showing him that actions have real consequences. And sometimes, those consequences can change everything.